exclusively on ESPN Plus. UFC 313, Saturday. Reigning light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira defends his title against number one contender Magomed Ankalaev, and an explosive lightweight bout between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. UFC 313, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNPlus.com/PPV.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Back, and this week we are talking about one of my all-time favorite movies, 1980s Alligator. Guys, I am so excited to talk about this one. I
can't believe it's not been talked about. I mean, it's been talked about on the show.
Yeah,
extensively.
Matt, explain why it took so long for us to do it.
Well, because we did it for Reddit Horror Club, and when we first launched this podcast, we wanted to give people who didn't know us from Reddit Horror Club a couple of our favorite episodes. So we released that and The Phantom of the Paradise and Puppet Master 3 and a few others. But those were the three big ones that in retrospect I was like, we should have just done our own episodes on those because we were not recording with good equipment back then. We weren't really even doing anything of real quality back then.
Yeah.
And this movie I love so much. And it was an anniversary, so I said, fuck it. We're going to redo this one because I love it so much. So I'm going to go into this assuming that nobody listening has ever heard that episode.
No.
That's probably not fully true, but I bet it's most.
God, I hope it's true. I wish it was true.
Speak the gospel, Matt. Speak the gospel.
So my love of Alligator stems all the way before I even was watching horror movies regularly, which was I wanted to dip my toe into horror, but I was afraid of horror movies. And I would walk the Blockbuster video horror aisle, and every once in a while I'd look at a video and I'd look around on the back, and at that point, if it said PG-13, I would give it a rent. Now, Alligator was an R, but Alligator 2, The Mutation, was PG-13, so I rented that, and I enjoyed it for what it is. And we have an episode on that movie. Go ahead and listen to it. I actually think it was the last episode we recorded before the world shut down.
Oh, fuck.
I think we're literally talking in that episode of come to Mozzamania and meet up with us this weekend.
Oh, fuck.
It was it just a fun little timestamp on that one. But shortly after that, Sci-Fi Network was doing a week of creature movies, and they were going to show Alligator and Alligator 2. And I thought, ooh, the edit it for TV version of this should be
Safe.
fine.
Yes.
And honestly, looking back on it, I am shocked by how much of the gore made it onto the Sci-Fi Network broadcast.
How do you know? Do you remember the gore that you saw the first time you watched it?
100%, because when I finally watched the real movie, there was no difference beyond curses being cut out.
Oh, wow.
They showed the legless limbs and everything. So what I haven't explored yet is Scream Factory put out a 4K Blu-ray of Alligator very recently that has the original theatric run and the TV edit of the movie, because the TV edit has 8 extra minutes that they added to expand the runtime.
8 minutes?
8 minutes. Now, I think my memory is that it's just more of the cop procedural
It has
portion
to
of it.
be.
It's not.
It has to
It's
be.
not like more chaos. But my love of this movie has basically been that forever. And this movie, we'll get there, but this movie is why I still don't like swimming in pools at night. Not because of the scene, but because of me and my cousin loving this movie so much that at night he'd be like, let's play Alligator. And the way that game worked was that I'd be in the pool and he would have goggles on and just pull me under the water randomly in the darkness of night. And it gave me so many panic attacks that like now I still just don't like being in the water at night where I can't see where other people are in the water.
Yeah, absolutely fuck that.
But I think all of us have seen this at least once. Kyle, you said that you think you only saw this in my basement one time.
I've only seen it in your basement. And I had seen Alligator 2 first.
Yeah.
I had seen that.
Or no, because we did.
You joined us for Alligator
we
2
did
The
Alligator
Mutation.
2,
You
yeah.
100%
I did. I was on
did.
that episode, and I did look back. It was the last episode that we released it in April, but it was recorded, obviously the month before, and it was the last thing before. And but I couldn't remember because I had watched it for one of the live streams, right? So it was.
yeah.
I must have seen Alligator 1 prior to 2. I only thought that I had seen 2, and then I started watching this with Carly the other night. I was like, oh no, I know exactly what's gonna go down right
Yeah,
here.
it's not the deepest movie, which makes my job
No.
very easy of running down the plot line here. And I love this is like one of my new favorite things is sitting down and writing out the shortest and sweetest plot synopsis. So here we go. In the late 60s, a girl purchases a pet alligator that her father eventually flushes down the toilet. And now, 12 years later, the alligator has grown to astronomical size after feeding on the carcasses of illegally experimented on animals.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Detective David Madison is brought in on the case as body parts are showing up in the sewers. David is already a controversial detective as his previous partner died in the line of duty. But when a young cop agrees to go with him to investigate the sewer for clues, he is unfortunately also devoured by this alligator. David says that the giant alligator in the sewers has eaten his partner and is ridiculed and treated as if he had just imagined it. However, when a nosy reporter from the local paper goes to investigate and is attacked by the alligator, he manages to snap off a bunch of photos of it, which lead the people to believe David's story. Meanwhile, David partners up with a herpetologist, Marissa, who happens to be the little girl from the beginning of the movie, to help understand the creature, and they start a sexual relationship. After a failed attempt to draw the alligator out of the sewers, the entire alligator theory is again dropped and mocked until the alligator explodes out of the middle of the street, ruining a perfectly good game of stickball.
Yeah. They had a good thing going. It was like, dude, I felt like if this was an episode of Hey Arnold, like they could have done an
That's what
episode
it
of Hey
felt
Arnold.
like, dude.
Actually,
Are you going to make that your double feature now? Is just rewatching Hey Arnold?
no. I feel like I could see an animated like alligator or pet or something being fun, but I could just be completely making that
I
up
think
in
you're
my
just
brain.
combining a bunch of Nickelodeon shows. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that
Yeah,
there is an
probably.
animated alligator pet in some variation.
Well,
of-
and they like Hey Arnold is so, it's in the city, so like those urban legends
Yeah.
like sort of make sense.
I haven't rewatched all of Hey Arnold in a very long time, but I'm pretty sure that there is at least an alligator in the sewers inspired episode based on how much of the show is tied around like city urban legends.
Oh, the Sewer King. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Holy
we're good.
shit, Kyle.
Thank you.
That was
Yeah.
a fast turnaround, buddy.
Now, at this part in the movie is where I feel it's really important for us to talk about how fantastic this alligator prop, the animatronics, and the forced perspective work is in this movie. Like, they're all absolute home runs throughout
Firing
the
on
whole time.
all cylinders.
Dude,
it's wild.
The shots of like where you just have an actual gator like walking through like a model of a city or going into like the model of a lake, but like it effectively just looks like, oh shit, this thing is huge. Like there's like only 2 shots in this whole movie where they use a real gator where you're like, oh, that gator's actually not that big.
Yeah.
But like the rest of it, like they do a great job with the forced perspective, and like the head of this alligator prop is incredible.
It's huge.
Something that really, it's gigantic. Like
It's huge and it's effective. It's so like you're just expecting more alligator to come after the head of the alligator.
And the tail.
It looks great.
The tail,
the tail
literally smashes a car to bits. It's
Yeah,
a limo
it's
to
fantastic.
bits.
Yes. Anyway, David connects the alligator with the illegal experiments that are being sponsored by a local tycoon named Donald Trump. I mean Slade. And when David questions Slade's people, he's kicked off the force, and an alligator is hired instead. Unfortunately, this alligator hunter is quickly devoured by the large animal, who then attacks and kills Slade and various residents at a high society wedding party. David chases down the gator.
They should have been grilling.
David chases down the gator, who goes back to the sewers, and while using some explosives, he blows up the monster. As him and Marissa walk away into the sunset, we go back to the sewer where a new baby alligator is flushed again, implying the cycle will start again. And that is 1980s Alligator.
That's how you do it.
Let's talk about highlights
Holy shit.
and things that we would like to see, things that we just want to like talk about, because this isn't a lot on substance. This isn't a particularly deep movie, but I personally feel like in the grand scheme of all of the Jaws ripoff movies, which just is categorized in, I think that this is one of the tightest scripts. I think it's one of the funniest scripts. Like, it has a good sense of humor in its dialogue, and it has gnarly kills and a great prop. Like, I know that we all liked Piranha, but like the piranha in that movie are basically cut out fish on like string, like kind of being shot to look like they're underwater. Yeah. This was like money and effort was put behind this creature.
Well, I think that like again, it's done so in a way that was like tired and true, right? Yeah. Like, so there is, we go back to like the B movies of the 50s and like the cheap way that you do that, and it's like I didn't know it was going to translate as well. I mean, the force perspective for me is just the most fun part. Like, and it makes me wonder why we don't do that more. Yeah. Well, I think I know the answer, but it's just such a fun thing to watch. And it seems so accessible for like making a crazy big creature movie. Like, it's just so fun. That's like him coming. I mean, coming out of the sewer that first time is just so good. It's my backdrop. I couldn't get enough of it. I rewound it and watched it twice.
And I think what they did a really good job of, as far as I can tell, I'm assuming they only had maybe one or two alligators that they were using for the force perspectives, right? But like looking at the image behind Kyle, which is where an actual alligator is crawling out of this hole that they've put in a set, they did a great job of the alligator head of the prop matching what's happening. And this is going to sound insane. I mean, it's probably an easier thing to do with a gator, but like compare that to the movie that this is ripping off, Jaws. Like, when they cut to that shark and then they cut to the actual underwater footage that they shot of real sharks, it's so dramatically different that it's like, immediately by the way the shark is moving and this, that, and the other thing, like, oh, that's a real shark and that's a fake one. The only way that you really know the difference between the real shark and the fake, or the real alligator and the fake alligator, is like, you can't get a real alligator to do this and not kill somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, also, I think that they made a lot of smart decisions with this movie.
Yeah.
By having the vast majority of, well, literally all of the force perspective is on land. All of the water-based stuff, which you can't do with the shark. You can't do land-based stuff with a shark. You can only do water-based. Shooting anything in water is so much tough. More difficult. But I think that this just, it really hits every beat in such a fun way because, I mean, they do underwater stuff, and they use the head prop specifically in a really great way. I think that must have been like a really large prop that had enough of like the torso added to it that they could get away with having shots, like, the way that they didn't have to do super tight shots. Like, they're tight shots because, it's like the snout to the back of the jaw, right? But probably when they were like taking the shots of it, there was more visible. I would love to see it behind the scenes. Like, I didn't even look if there has to be
check.
One, but yeah.
I've listen, this 4K is 3 discs. There has to be some shit on there.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing, I got to talk about the kid in the pool scene.
Yes.
That scarred me as a child. Especially because logistically this scene makes zero sense. But
no reason.
Because they've established that this gator is like the size of a car. As the kid says, it's the size of a Buick, but then you've got to add the tail. So, like, this is a huge fucking gator.
Yeah.
They do this bit where it cuts to a children's party, and these kids make their little brother walk the plank. Like, they're going to push him off the diving board into the pool in his costume. And just as he's about to get pushed into the pool, the mom, like, turns on the light in the pool, and it cuts to this gator's head underneath the diving board. That makes no sense. There's no way. There's no way for this 30-something foot gator to be positioned under the diving board.
Yeah, well, it's I think that the growth hormone also grew its brain. So it's smart.
You thinking that this alligator is doing a back pedal, like, and leaned his back against the wall with his jaw ready? Like,
hell yeah.
He's doing that. He's from Peter Pan.
Yeah.
He's doing the
but he is. He's literally doing but he's also like full Peter Pan.
Princess and the Frog is what I was thinking.
But Jaw's just ready and open underneath that diving board, waiting for this food to just be plopped into his mouth. The shots are incredible. Even the shot of, and you're right, Scott, there has to have been a much bigger model, because we get that one shot of the alligator hunter that's fully in a gator's mouth, like moving around and hitting it. Like, that is a full-size model that they built, maybe just for that shot that's like foam rubber and they shot from far away to like not cover up the seams, but it still looks fantastic while you're watching it. Like,
yeah, I love it.
Would rather watch something like that than anything fucking computer generated.
Well, that's why this all works. It's.
I know there's artistry involved, and I just forgive me, because I know that there is artistry involved with making computer generated stuff. Like there is, and that's just a world I don't know. But the world I come from is something like this, and it's just like I'd so much rather spend the time and energy and money eventually like making something like this that's physical. And I don't know. I also think it gives actors something more, even if it is just wailing on the inside of a gator's mouth. But it's there. Like, it's purposeful. It's something.
That's listen. As someone who, I think of the three of us, is the big animal movie guy. Like, I love like nature gone wild movies.
You do.
You really do.
There hasn't, like, I know people love Crawl, and Crawl doesn't do it for me, and I think it's for the same. I have never enjoyed watching any of these movies when it's like a CGI monster. Like, there is something about Alligator and Alligator 2 and what's going to be my double feature and the Jaws sequels, even like the worst Jaws sequel. I would rather watch Jaws the Revenge and see the like animatronic shark doing its thing than I would ever want to watch like a Deep Blue Sea sequel with these CGI sharks swimming around. You know what I mean? Deep Blue Sea is kind of
100%.
the last one I'm willing to watch, because it does both, right? Like, they have animatronic sharks for the stuff where they're not under the water, and then for like the scenes where they're in the water, they used CGI a little bit more, and they used CGI to eat Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But like,
which iconic.
But that's like, there's just something so much more gnarly. That's why even that sharksploitation documentary, which I think is fantastic, and everyone should watch that sharksploitation documentary on Shudder. It's like the first hour they're talking about all the like Jaws and all the Jaws ripoffs, and I'm like, hell yeah, I've seen all of these. And then they get to that point where they start talking about the Sharknado, and I kind of lose interest until they start talking about like the zero budget movies, where I'm like, maybe I will watch Sharks of the Corn, where it's like a shoddily made like puppet shark that they've like green screened into see. Like, it's you either
Noah's Shark is worth the watch.
That's what I mean. Like, if you make it so like Birdemic level cheap, I'm kind of invested again. But like, I don't want to watch your $1 million shark movie with like a CGI shark that moves just like a real shark, but like instills no excitement or fear into any.
Give me a real shark. I want real fear.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Give me the prop. Or give me the real shark. Let me see them fight for their life.
Introducing Internet Supreme Court, the new live stream show where we judge everything in the current cultural zeitgeist.
We cover news, memes, Reddit drama, X-nonsense, and try to stare long enough into Mark Zuckerberg's eyes to see if he has a soul.
He doesn't. Check us out every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on InternetSupremeCourt.com, premiering in March 2025.
Check out InternetSupremeCourt.com for more or follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky.
Anyway, if hypothetically I was having people over to watch Alligator, I think I'm good.
Only in your fantasy would you be bringing people
only
over to
in
watch
my
this
fantasy.
movie?
You'd never do that. You've never done that, and you never will.
I've certainly not hypothetical. So now with Weird Ass Movie Night, I've been doing themes where I'll post like 5 themes and people can vote for the theme. For the last 5 months, I've put in I tried this month with fishy February. Like I'm gonna try for aquatic April. Like I'm just trying to post something that gets enough votes that I can play Alligator. But
oh my God.
One of the movies that I have shown at Weird Ass Movie Night, and I will make us watch it probably in the next year when we're not doing anniversaries, is a delightful Italian alligator movie. Oh, sorry, crocodile movie called Killer Crocodile, which has this exact same energy. Like brutal violence, an amazing prop that they just can't stop showing you over and over and over again. Like it is, even the trailer, if you watch the trailer for Killer Crocodile, it is 3 minutes of this animatronic. Like they are so proud of it.
Bless them.
And that's what you should do.
I think Severin put that out. It's looks gnarly.
It's great.
I think I might have watched it before. It's great.
Really, really good.
Good on the scale of our show, just for the
Oh,
listener,
it's perfect for
know.
our show. It's perfect for our show.
I'm doing Slugs.
Oh,
Yeah.
God
yeah,
damn,
yeah.
that's
Slugs. It's just like it's as violent, if not maybe a little bit more, but in a different way for this. And it doesn't wreak the havoc on the town. Well, it does, but not quite the same. It works perfect in my mind. So Slugs is where I'm going.
that would be. I would absolutely RSVP yes to that. I was gonna go with Gnaw, Food of the Gods, because it's the same concept of genetically modified monster animals, and it's additionally very fucking silly.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my room.
Yeah.
It feels very. Man, I think we just triple feature that with Slugs, man. Like that would be a night.
Dude, that's a hell of an evening.
This is great. I love what is all happening here. I could go to any of these.
Well, you know what, Kyle?
Incredible.
If people also are loving what's happening here, they should go to patreon.com/HMN podcast and get more conversations like this one. I may have busted out a old musical soundtrack that I recorded in high school that's just for the Patreon. So
that was
enjoy that.
That was a treat, and no joke, listeners, that you are missing out if you don't check that out. It's incredible.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you go to our website, hmnpodcast.com, you can buy some merch that we'll send you in the mail with a couple goodies. Anybody who's on the video side of the Patreon can see that my friend dropped off about 500 CDs that he didn't want anymore. So who knows? Maybe I'll send you a random 90s pop punk CD with your T-shirt purchase for the month of March.
I'm going to buy a T-shirt from us.
Just for that.
Dude,
Send me
Scott,
a
you would have
bag.
loved some of the shit that he has in this booklet. Every Atari's release you could ever want, which is to say up to So Long Astoria.
Yeah, basically. Well, no. Let's just say everything before So Long Astoria.
Yeah.
I mean, I will listen to So Long Astoria, but I'll feel like a piece of shit about it because it's not as good as anything
It's not
else
as good,
they did.
but it's better than Welcome the Night, which
man.
is all that matters.
Dude, I remember hearing the single for Not Capable of Love and being like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it's not a terrible song, but it's just like the worst Atari song until you listen to the next song on Welcome the Night and then the next song. Like, it is. Oh man, that record sucks ass.
And also, if you want to get some more exclusive shirts, you can also go to our TeePublic, which is linked in most of our stuff. And email us if you want to join our newsletter, because who knows what's going to happen with our social media accounts. God knows we're not going to fall in line with the current administration, and that could mean bad things for us. So, hmnpodcast@gmail.com. Stay in the know. And speaking of being in the know, let's tell you what we know that we enjoyed watching in the last week or so. I'm going to do a quick update on my Netflix MCU watching.
Yes.
I watched Jessica Jones season 1. Incredible. That is my top of the shows so far. That David Tennant as
Purple Man.
Purple Man. I want it was Kill something as well, but like he is like the shit that happens in that episode is some of the gnarliest shit I've ever seen in any TV show, let alone something tied to the MCU. Daredevil 2 had all the makings of a great season and then just got burdened by the weight of way too many characters and way too many plot lines happening. And I'm like halfway through Luke Cage, and I'm willing to put season 1 Luke Cage right up there with Jessica Jones. Is just so enjoyable. The way that it captures like a 70s blaxploitation vibe and like the plot and the music and everything, it rules. I'm excited to finish recording with you guys so I can watch more Luke Cage.
Get the fuck out of here so you can go watch more Luke Cage. I love it.
So that's my Netflix MCU updates. By the time this episode comes out, new Daredevil is already here, but I've got
hopefully
like a month.
it's good.
Yeah, I've got a month from right now. So either one of you guys, go next.
I'll do an update too. I've made it to Cool Runnings on my Disney watch list, and Cool Runnings is fun. Cool Runnings is fun. John Candy is great, and like all the bobsledders, they are distinguished characters. And this was like this was a movie that I watched a lot. It was a rainy day summer camp movie.
Makes sense.
Like whenever I was at summer camp, and it wasn't like a sleepaway camp. It was at like a day, like
it was the one where you were told to dance, right?
Oh my god, yeah, and I wouldn't stop dancing in the middle because everybody, Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that I shared that with you. That's great. Cool Runnings. It's just does it
hold up?
It's
Is it? I'm very nervous to rewatch that movie because I fear that it is
like there is. I mean, it's tough because it's stereotypical Jamaica, right? But they're or stereotyped Jamaica. I shouldn't say stereotypical Jamaica. I've never been, and I don't know a lot of people like directly from Jamaica. I know the stereotypes. I know of Cool Runnings. I know, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it is the butt of any serious joke, any really discriminatory joke.
Yeah,
it does feel like it is like a gentle representation of a fun thing that had happened.
Yeah,
of an interesting thing that had happened.
The bigger
story is probably far less interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say
actually is in this movie.
The bigger problem with Cool Runnings is not that the story or the characters are problematic, but that it's basically just an entire work of fiction based on
Yes.
Isn't it crazy that there was a Jamaican bobsled team and that's where the story begins and ends. John Candy's character did not exist. There was never they just were a team and they competed and they did just fine. Even the heroic ending where they don't finish because they crash, but they all get out and care. All made up. The whole movie is just someone said, man, I bet it was crazy for the Jamaican bobsled team the first year they competed, and then just made up a movie based on that conceit. But if you just watch it for what it's supposed to be, which is hey, an inspirational sports story, which I like more than watching any actual sports. It's weird. I like movies about sports. I struggle to watch a sporting event.
To watch sports.
But it's one of the better inspirational sports movies, despite being totally fictionalized.
It is. It's a lot of fun. There's some good adult humor in it. There's enough weed smoking jokes. I think one or two that made me laugh. There is some great sexual innuendos. Great, but it's just but I just think
that's all Kyle's ever looking
fun.
for. He's how good's the sexual innuendo in this movie? Because that's
that usually gives anything another half a star for me if there's some sexual innuendo in there.
That's why
real boobs don't do it, but a sexual innuendo.
That's why it's his favorite movies on Letterboxd. It's Beavis and Butthead Do America. It's American Pie.
Obviously. TV edits of them all, though, please.
Of course.
And Yeah, so we're at Cool Runnings. I actually think no, we're beyond that. We're in the midst of Three Musketeers, which I think we're gonna 30-minute rule. I cannot
is that the Oliver
get
Platt
on board? Yeah,
Dude,
I don't.
Are you
give
fucking
two fucks
serious
about that shit? No, I don't.
I love that movie.
It's not that it's a
Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell. Like I just don't like that time period. I can't get down with it, and this has not helped. But you know what? I'm sorry. We're still in the midst of, but I don't foresee us going very far. We'll see. The next one is fucking Iron Will. About a 1917 dog sled race, which feels great. Yeah. Can't wait for that. But
I love that you're acting like we're forcing this on you.
Yeah, it's your fault. The most Matt Kelly thing Kyle has ever done.
100%.
I'm gonna try to maybe the first of the month fill everybody in on where we are in this.
I think that's a good plan.
Continues to go this
if you
way.
survive.
Right. So
Scott, take us home.
All right. So I don't know how much I have to say about it, but I wanted to connect my discussion here with our discussion on this episode. And so I want to talk about Guy N. Smith's The Slime Beast from 1979. It is a 103-page book that I own a copy of. And it is it's like a B horror movie, like a monster movie from the 50s, right? But with so much sex. So it's so odd. I mean, it's Guy N. Smith, so I knew what I was, getting into. But the crux of the story is there's this professor, his niece, and then this guy that works for him that is also a scientist, and they are going out into the salt flats to look for some buried treasure that no one can find. And they don't find the buried treasure, but they do in fact find an alien buried under the mud that is alive and hungry. And so it wakes up and it starts to eviscerate people, and it terrorizes people every night, basically for a week. And every night that they don't get attacked, the niece of the professor and the guy that's with her are fucking. And she's a virgin, and so it's very much like, oh, I know you've done this with other people before. And he's like, yes, but it wasn't important. This wasn't special. And then she professes her love to him as he's like inside her, and he professes his love back. And then she's like, I want you to finish inside me. I don't care if you impregnate me. And he's like, I don't care if I impregnate you either, as long as we get out of this alive. They eventually burn the slime beast to death with a flamethrower. It's just, I think that I'm making it sound so much better than it actually was. Thank fuck that it was only 103 pages or whatever. But I was like, I'm laying in bed next to Megan. She's playing Stardew Valley on her Switch, and I'm reading these people fuck while the slime beast is out terrorizing this English town. And it's literally the point where they're like professing their love to each other as he's about to come inside her, and I just start laughing, and she's like, I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Because is that why they call it Slime Beast? Is this where?
Oh,
I'll tell you what. Google image searching Slime Beast. Every book cover that I clicked was better than the previous book cover. So there's 4 different variants.
Why do you think I own a copy? It's not for the story.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have fun, man. And speaking of wow, Alligator, man, it's a movie that makes you yell wow. So stay tuned next week to see what movie we talk about next on Horror Movie Night.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.